Thank you, Vice Chairman, sir. Sir, my colleagues have spoken in some detail on the working of the Defence Ministry and have touched on a number of issues ranging from weakness in defence R&D to the urgent and need for modernizing the armed forces and also bringing in transparency into procurement. Sir, from a security point of view, as a nation, we are faced with unprecedented transformations and challenges around us, with some of our neighbors representing significant security challenges to us of varying forms, be it to our shipping lanes, be it to our geopolitical influence, or through proxy terrorism attacks. Sir, some of my colleagues have already said, and I add to that, that countries that have engaged in a proxy war with India will eventually always fail, faced as they have so far with the determination of all of us Indians, but more specifically with the indomitable and undefeatable spirit of patriotism and service of the many generations of our servicemen and women and their families. These men and their families form the backbone of this nation's efforts at providing a stable and secure country for all our people. Sir, it is about these men and women and their families that I wish to speak about today. Sir, a number of my colleagues have said, and I add, that our Defence Minister is one of the most decent and unassuming persons I have met in my recent and very short term in politics. I am sure he realizes that as Defence Minister and civilian custodian of the Defence Ministry, he is in effect the trustee of the great institution that is the Indian Armed Forces and the millions of men and women that have served and are serving and will serve this nation in times of war and peace and their families. Sir, it is to this role as a trustee of the armed forces that I address him today. Sir, he is aware that our nation has had to fight and defend itself against many aggressions and war and is being challenged almost every day on various fronts. Sir, he is aware that over the last many decades, the country has asked thousands of young men and women and their families to a call of duty and to sacrifice life and limb to protect our nation. Sir, he is aware that almost every day since independence till today, some family somewhere in India is asked to go through the pain and trauma of having to deal with losing their loved one in service of the nation. He is also aware, sir, that despite all this, we the people of India and indeed the government of India has failed in our duty and continue to fail to build a national military memorial in our nation's capital to honor these sacrifices and service to the nation. Every nation honors its heroes who have perished on the battlefield with a memorial, excepting us. Sir, my state of Karnataka has undertaken the project of a memorial and it will be completed soon. It will be inscribed with the names of each and every son of Karnataka who died in the service of our nation. But a national memorial for the sons and daughters of India who have perished is still missing in Delhi. I urge him, sir, this is a shame and an embarrassment which should not be allowed to continue. I urge him, as I have been urging the government for several years, to act on this. Do not leave this in the hands of a group of insensitive bureaucrats to comprehend the deep emotional need of this country and indeed the families of those who have perished to have such a memorial. So let me take on the second issue of one rank, one pension. This is a deeply emotional issue of honor for many thousands of retired soldiers and their families. We must not forget that our veterans have served this country under the most trying of economic and security challenges over the last many decades. We must not forget that whilst all around us in our region, military subverted democracies, the men of our armed forces protected it and helped it to grow to what we are today. Honor, unfortunately, sir, isn't a concept that is very well understood or respected in the corridors of Delhi. But, sir, I urge you to recognize honor and pride, which is what makes a man put his life on the line for the nation. Sir, the Standing Committee on Defence has recommended one rank, one pension. Recently, the Committee of Petitions of the Rajya Sabha, comprising all parties, has also, after detailed consultations and hearings on the matter, tabled the report in Parliament on 19 December 2011, recommending the immediate implementation of one rank, one pension and the constitution of a separate commission to determine pay and other service conditions and benefits for the armed forces. But even now, the Defence Ministry refuses to act on this. And the old excuse trotted out by the bureaucracy that all other central services will ask for it certainly holds no merit because of the very different nature of service in the armed forces. the right thing for the Honourable Minister to do is to respect the views of the Parliament and the MPs, as has been communicated to him on more than one occasion. Ignoring the sense of Parliament on this issue would be wrong and a big error on his part. Sir, both these issues are not about money. Given the amount of money that is wasted or frittered away or even looted from the government, these amounts for one rank, one pension and the national military memorial are almost nothing. In an overall defence budget of 1,94,000 crores, this will be insignificant in terms of cost, but very, very, very powerful and significant in terms of the message it communicates to the men and women in uniform. This is about our determination or lack of to do the right thing by our servicemen and their families. So lastly, before I end, let me touch on another issue. A few months ago, I had written to the Prime Minister and the Honourable Defence Minister and also raised a special mention in Parliament about nominating armed forces veterans to the Parliament, who can be the voice of over 1 crore ex-servicemen and their families. I was given a classic answer saying that the Constitution doesn't permit it. Be that as it may, sir, if the government can consider cricket, business and film stars as icons of national service, I would urge that the Defence Minister consider nominating veterans to at least one of the nominated seats in Parliament. I think he would agree that battlefield service in Kargil and Siachen ranks at least as high as cricket, movie stars or business stars. Sir, as we move forward as a nation, our armed forces need to continue to attract the best and motivated of our young generation in the service of our country. Let us do these basic fundamental duties by the generations that have served us. Let them in turn inspire the future generations to serve. Let them be confident that the country and the people haven't forgotten their service and will value their service to our country. Sir, in ending, I would like to quote, as Shri Tripathi has quoted, to quote my own Kautilya statement, who wrote, the great political strategist wrote to Chandragupta Maurya centuries ago, and I quote, "The day the soldier has to demand his dues will be a sad day for Magad, for then that day, Chandragupta, you would have lost all moral sanction to be king." Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.